In the ancient world, long before the rise of kingdoms or the carving of stone tablets, the earth was filled with corruption. Violence spread across the land, and people turned their hearts away from the Creator who had breathed life into them. The beauty of creation was overshadowed by human darkness, and the world wandered far from the path of righteousness. Yet in the midst of this troubled age lived a man named Noah, a man who walked with God when few even remembered his name. Noah was righteous in his generation, a beacon of integrity in a world drowning in wickedness. While those around him pursued power and pleasure, Noah listened for the quiet voice of the divine. One day, that voice came to him with a message that would change the course of history. God revealed to Noah that the world had reached its limit. The corruption of humanity had grown so great that the earth itself groaned beneath its weight. A great flood was coming, not as an act of cruelty, but as an act of cleansing, a reset of creation. Yet in this judgment, God also revealed mercy. He commanded Noah to build an ark, a massive structure of wood, sealed and strengthened, capable of withstanding waters that would swallow mountains. Through this ark, Noah, his family, and the creatures of the earth would be preserved, becoming the seed of a new beginning. Noah received this command with awe and fear. He had never seen a flood, never imagined a world covered in water, yet he trusted the one who spoke. While others dismissed him, Noah began to gather timber. Day after day he worked with his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, raising beams, shaping planks, and sealing every joint. The ark rose like a great wooden mountain upon the earth. The people around him mocked and laughed. They could not imagine why anyone would build such a vessel so far from rivers or seas. But Noah continued, driven not by the approval of men, but by obedience to God. His family stood by him, sharing in the burden and the hope. Soon the ark stood finished, towering high with 3 decks, ready to house life through the coming storm. Then came a sight the world had never witnessed. Across plains and valleys, animals began to move. 2 by 2 they journeyed, drawn by a divine hand. Lions walked calmly beside deer. Wolves strode in peace alongside sheep. Birds filled the skies in great flocks, descending toward the ark. Noah watched in wonder as they entered, each species settling into its place as if guided by invisible paths. This sign alone should have shaken the hearts of the people, yet most turned away, refusing to see the miracle before them. With the ark prepared and the animals gathered, God instructed Noah and his family to enter. Noah made one final call to the people, urging them to turn from their ways and seek mercy. But no one followed. As Noah's family stepped inside, a deep stillness fell over the land. The massive door of the ark closed, not by human strength, but by the power of God himself. And then the sky changed. Dark clouds gathered from every direction, swirling into towering storms. The first drops of rain fell softly, almost gently, against the earth. People paused, uncertain, but the drops did not stop. They multiplied and fell harder. The heavens opened, and torrents of water poured from the sky. Thunder roared across the land. Lightning flashed in blinding streaks. Rivers overflowed. Wells burst upward. Springs that had slept beneath the earth broke open and surged toward the sky. Panic filled the streets. Families ran to higher ground, clutching children and calling out in fear. But the waters rose with relentless force, swallowing fields, homes, and cities. The laughter that once mocked Noah's warning had turned into desperate cries. Yet, the ark remained steady, lifted gently by the rising waters. Inside, Noah and his family felt the world tremble, but they were safe within the refuge God had provided. Days became nights, and nights became days. But the storm showed no mercy. Rain hammered the ark. Waves crashed with unending violence. The world that had once thrived with life now disappeared beneath an endless sea. For 40 days and 40 nights, the flood covered the earth. Mountains vanished beneath the roaring waters, and all the works of man were swept away. Only the ark remained, floating upon the deep, like a seed of hope in a world reborn. After many weeks, the rain ceased. Noah opened a window and felt fresh air for the first time since the deluge began. The horizon still glistened with endless water, but there was peace. Days passed, and the water continued to recede. Peaks of distant mountains began to emerge like islands rising from the deep. The ark eventually came to rest upon the mountains of Ararat, held gently by the hand of God. Yet Noah did not rush to leave. He waited for a sign that the earth was truly ready to be inhabited again. Noah first released a raven, and it flew back and forth over the waters, finding no place to rest. Later, he sent out a dove, but it too returned, finding no ground upon which to land. Noah waited 7 more days and sent the dove again. As it returned, he saw something in its beak, a fresh olive leaf. Hope blossomed in Noah's heart. The earth was healing. After waiting another 7 days, Noah released the dove once more, and this time it did not return. The signal was clear. The waters had withdrawn. The earth was ready to receive life again. When the day finally came, Noah, his wife, his sons, and their wives stepped out from the ark onto dry ground. The air was fresh, the sky radiant, and the land washed clean. Animals poured out behind them, scattering across the valleys and forests, filling the world with movement and sound once more. The silence of judgment had ended. The song of new creation had begun. Noah's first act upon leaving the ark was to build an altar to the Lord. With gratitude and awe, he offered thanks for protection and mercy. The aroma of the offering rose into the heavens, and God received it with favor. Then God made a covenant with Noah, a promise not only for him, but for all generations to come. Never again would the earth be destroyed by a flood. Never again would waters swallow the world. As a sign of this everlasting promise, God set a bow of radiant colors across the sky. The rainbow arched over the earth, like a bridge of light between heaven and humanity. Whenever the clouds gathered and rain returned, this sign would remind every generation of God's mercy, faithfulness, and enduring promise. Noah's story did not end at the foot of the mountain. He became the father of a renewed humanity, the beginning of new nations, and the symbol of obedience in a world restored. His journey through the flood stands as a testament to trust, perseverance, and the grace of God that carries His people through every storm. The great flood reminds us that judgment and mercy walk together in the hands of the divine, that even when the world falls into darkness, God preserves a remnant of hope. And just as the rainbow shines after the storm, His promises shine beyond every trial. Noah's ark is more than a vessel of wood. It is a symbol of refuge, faith, and the unbreakable covenant between God and humankind. Through Noah's obedience, the world began again, washed clean and filled with the promise of new life.